welcome back. Trumponomics are set to make a comeback here as President Trump announced this past week two of his nominees to help him revive America's economy, starting with Cantor Fitzgerald Chairman Howard Lutnick for Commerce Secretary, and also Wall Street hedge fund veteran Scott Bessent for Treasury Secretary. With the market soaring right now in wake of his election, are these the two men who will ultimately help us take this economy to new heights? Let's ask public finance economist and the Heritage Foundation, E.J. Antoni, and president of the Strelmark Business Development Consultants, Hillary Forwich. Great to see both of you. Hillary, I want to start with you. Scott Bessent, he is well regarded as one of the leading hedge fund managers on Wall Street. He's known for his bullish stance on tariffs from a global perspective. How is this pick going to be received by our allies?
Well, I think that the allies should be quaking in their boots in terms of if they don't get along and on board with us. But by our allies, this is going to be really great. Unfortunately, in the UK, of course, there's a Labour government which doesn't quite exactly agree in terms of American policies. It's more like Democrats in the UK. But the reason I think he will be very good for America, and there is the expression, when America says the world catches the flu. So the opposite of that is when America booms, the world booms with us. So our allies and everyone across the world actually should not only look for peace, but prosperity. What I love the most about basically all of Trump's picks, but particularly Scott, is that John, he's actually coming to the table as a businessman, as we do in the business world, with goals, concrete goals. So this is like having a pilot fly the plane who knows where he's going to, but also has flown many planes, not as just a set aside. Now, last but not least, he's got a clear goal, 3 by 3 by 3. Pump an additional 3 million barrels of oil a day, in addition to what we're doing now by reducing regulations. Secondly, reduce the national debt to get it to 3% of GDP and grow the economy by 3%. There are your goals. He's a businessman. So our allies get on board with us and be prosperous like us.
That's a good point. And you're right. I mean, this is going to have a ripple effect with countries all across the world. EJ, talk to me about Howard Lutnick as Trump's commerce pick. He's vowed to use tariffs as a tool to bring back jobs to the U.S. Some CEOs, though, they're loving this. Others, maybe not so much. What do you believe that Lutnick will bring to the table?
Well, I think he has a very good perspective on tariffs. I think it's well aligned with the president. You know, we forget that for a large portion of our nation's history, we didn't even have an income tax. The federal government funded itself essentially entirely off tariffs. This idea that somehow if we implement tariffs that we, by the way, already had and under which we were very prosperous, the idea if we somehow implement them again, that the economy will crash. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. The empirical record of history doesn't support it either. But one of the things that I think Lutnick is going to have a real tough time doing is getting right all of the economic statistics which have gone so horribly wrong under the current administration. The current Commerce Secretary and the current Commerce Department have essentially ruined numbers that we used to be able to rely on. Things like GDP, GDI, or gross domestic product and gross domestic income. These figures are things which all kinds of market movers, whether it's the Federal Reserve, major investors, et cetera, need to rely on these figures. They have become completely unreliable. And the data show that. It's very, very clear. The numbers are not matching up with reality. And so I say all that to make the point that the Commerce Secretary needs to fix the statistical problems that have essentially infected a lot of these official government reports on which we need to rely.
And you bring up the tariffs, and I want to get to here's what Lutnick has to say about the benefits of tariffs. Watch this.
So here was the idea. Put a tariff out and say to the company, if you come to America and you produce in America, you get a tax credit for your tariff. So come to America, build in America, and I've spoken to lots. This came from discussions with lots of industry groups, and they said, if you give us 2 years, we can manufacture in America. We'll bring our production to America, and if you give us back our tariff money, we're good with that. That's where that policy came from.
Hillary, do you agree with that strategy?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And to EJ's point, he's right. In all of our history, I mean, Alexander Hamilton, first of all, instituted tariffs. We did not have even income tax until 1913. We can then let the American people put their own money, keep their own money back in their pockets. It will be psychologically and actually tangibly, economically, so powerful to let Americans keep their money. And yes, that tariff policy will work.
And before we go, I want to get your thoughts on this, EJ. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and as families are going to be gathering around the table here, the prices will be reaching record highs with year-over-year increases in the double digits. When Trump takes office, are we going to see a lot of these prices come down in wake of this?
But I think you will, in large part because we are going to see energy production, specifically American energy production, unleashed. And we forget that energy is an input in all goods and services throughout the economy. And so if you can reduce the price of that input, you will reduce other prices throughout the entire economy. And I think that's something that Americans have to look forward to in the coming 4 years, and something that we can actually be thankful for this year.
Yeah, exactly. Hillary, I'll get your thoughts on that as well. Thanksgiving prices are through the roof.
No, and actually, EJ again is totally right, because 211 everyday products. Do you know even diapers have oil goes into them, in the petroleum in the process of their manufacture? So yes, 211 everyday products. The prices will come down, let alone the jobs. Drill, baby, drill will mean in America. So yes, happy Thanksgiving, because you know what? Even your liberal family members and friends, they're going to be prosperous, and we're going to be at peace for them too.
Drill, baby, drill. That liquid gold below our feet. EJ
Yes.
Antoni, Hillary Furwich, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to you if I don't see you soon.
You too. And you too, EJ.
Thank you.